Good evening. Tonight I'm reviewing The Clone Wars Season 1, Episode 13, Jedi Crash. Talk clearly and concisely, speak from the chest, or something, speak from the diaphragm. Well, I just watched that episode I mentioned. The story in this one is that Anakin and Ahsoka are in the middle of a huge space battle, humongous, but then Anakin gets injured and Ahsoka's, and they're escaping from the space battle, and then Ahsoka crash lands on a planet, and that was awesome too, awesome crash landing, and so another Jedi who I forget the name of, and a bunch of clones are stranded on this planet that looks. They were on Lion King world, basically, is what I kept thinking. And Ahsoka basically has to survive this new world while also trying to find a way to save Anakin's life. And that's the plot in a nutshell. Trying not to spoil things as much as I always seem to. Like how Ahsoka dies horribly. No, she doesn't. It'd be kind of weird at this point. Because when she was first introduced in the movie, and then the first couple episodes, I kept thinking, like, they're going to just kill her off at some point. But now she feels a lot more like a main character than she did at first. Well, she was, but like a sidekick, and I don't know. I still don't really. It wouldn't surprise me if she like died at the end of the first season or something. Kind of like Eddie in The Flash. See, there I go spoiling things again. The first thing I wanted to talk about was actually Anakin's anger. And I mean, we all kind of know that Anakin is a very angry person. I mean, he becomes Darth Vader and kills all the Jedi and all that stuff. And in episode 2, which, is the precursor to the Clone Wars, he got really angry because those Sand people killed his mom, so then he killed them, the Tusken Raiders, I mean. But I think just how often in this show his anger kind of just takes over him. I feel like at any given point, like a Jedi would just be like, I sense great anger in you. Maybe you want to cut that out, huh? And stuff like that, because they know that, I mean, the reason Jedis have all these rules they have to follow, and they're basically like space monks, is because that's how scared they are that they could turn to the dark side, And it's not that I'm sure there's like some Jedi who probably could like control their anger, or like understand that these emotions aren't meant to control them, right? But it's just such a dangerous path, like anyone could like give into their emotions, give into their anger, that is such, and go down this horrible path and become the next Sith Lord, basically. It seems like it's a very slippery slope. At least from what I've come to understand. I mean, I think that's why they have all these rules. It's not just like some weird like mysticism I don't fully understand. Because going your entire life without making like true human attachments is crazy, Like I'd see that for a certain amount of time. I mean, monks usually take a vow of silence and stuff like that for a certain amount of time, but I think even monks make friends with other monks. I don't know though. I don't know anything. Just that's the way I've always seen it. Just that like they have to have all these rules because if they don't, then they could slip. Just cross that very small line they have to cross to become evil, pretty much. It's always kind of bugged me that it's always been like light and dark side like that. But I guess it, just like one pulls you from one side to the other. That's probably an alchemical principle that I don't understand or something. A lot of what George Lucas put into the original movie was just stuff based on ancient cultures on Earth. Well, we don't know of any cultures on any other part of the galaxy. I'm just thinking Star Wars. So ancient cultures. I went off on a really long tangent just now. Sorry about that. My point was just that, like, I feel that Anakin, like, loses control of his emotions so much throughout this show so far I feel like any other Jedi should just like say something to him at some point. And I know like eventually he does like completely lose control, by episode 3. But this is a very long series. I guess they didn't know that just starting out like this, that they were going to be going on for 7 seasons and a movie. So maybe they felt they had to hint a lot at that. But still, I don't know. It just felt like, it just feels like Anakin should be more like a Jedi and less like a Sith at this point in the show. That's just what I think. Outside of that, which isn't really a complaint about the episode, just something I've noticed, I felt this had really good action. I feel the action throughout this episode is very good. I mean, it's not like a whole lot. It's mostly just the stuff at the beginning, because after that, it's this group of people basically just versus the environment, and then along with a long conversation between some monkey men about whether or not their war is for a good cause or not. And I really like the monkey people. I wanted to say that, just that I like them. They show. I don't know if they feel like a one-off kind of thing, like good. Though this ended on a cliffhanger, so they might show up in the next episode. But even then, I feel like then we won't ever see them again. That's fine. But I think they're a cool bunch. Among a bunch of monkeys, intelligent monkeys. They did kind of. This is just a minor complaint about them. They might kind of made me think of like they're just a bunch of like peace-loving beatniks, basically. Which I don't know, just made me kind of laugh. But at the same time, it's like, oh, I hope that's not their like one note. But then they still help the Jedi. I thought they were gonna like turn, like, be like, no, war is bad, and you're evil for being a part of it, even though you believe you're doing it for a good cause. I mean, it later turns out it's all just a game Palpatine's playing with the universe, apparently. But that's what they believe at the time, right? But then they still helped him out and helped him save Anakin's life at the very least. And they made some good points. There's so many clones, I kind of wish they just had their nickname printed on their shirt. I mean, that's just me. I just need to catch their names faster, because there's so many clones that like they only like mention their names like once per episode if you're lucky. Sometimes they're just nameless clones, and then they all die or something. But also, I guess I'm glad that there is death in these shows as a whole. Just that, like, most kids shows you can't do that for the most part. I mean, you might get away with things like, well, Batman's parents have to die, or Uncle Ben for Spider-Man has to die, right? So you had to show at least some of that, but they never like showed the death like completely on screen. You might hear some noise, you'll see like the reaction shot, things like that. But here, because they're clones, I think maybe the ratings board just gave them a little more leeway and be like, okay, you can kill clones, that's okay. And the bad guys are all just robots. Actually, 1 or 2 of the Jedis died too, so yeah, I guess, I don't know. I'm glad there's more death in this kids show than there normally is for kids shows. My one complaint for this episode is that some of the dialogue, especially in like the first half of the episode, is really like just on the nose and kind of talks down to the audience a lot. Again, I know it's a kids show, but kids are smart enough to get things, They're as smart as adults. They just don't know as much, right? It doesn't make them dumber. That doesn't mean they won't understand things when you say things subtly, right? That's my only problem with the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Otherwise, I'd say it's a perfect movie. Just that some of the dialogue is talking down to the audience. And I'd say that's the only problem here, too. Just some of the dialogue is too on the nose. And maybe it's just that, like, well, we have to have them say something here. But then it's like, well, fill it with good dialogue instead of just saying what we can blatantly see with our eyes. Yeah, that's the rule. Show, don't tell, right? But, I mean, sometimes you have to tell things just to save time or money or both. And that's fine, but don't show and tell the same thing at the same time, especially. Sometimes you can reiterate something if it's like, oh, we mentioned this at the beginning of the movie and now we're halfway through. Maybe we should reiterate that so the audience knows what's going on, just in case they forgot. which is still kind of talking down to the audience, but if a lot of stuff has happened between then and now, you might want to do that, and it's usually not a big deal as long as it's written well, if it's written well and feels natural. That's the thing about dialogue too. It should feel natural, right? And this, whenever it's really on the nose like that, and it's like, you see someone get shot and they're like, I've been shot, I'm in pain now, I'm dying, that, it's like, it's not good dialogue. They can do this through acting or emotions, or like even like, just, I don't know. I'm saying it's just like, if you feel the need to explain things out that much, you're probably doing something else wrong, and you should work that out. Sorry, I'm a writer, so I know I'm usually like, I usually see where there's problems with the script first, and then everything else is secondary. But that's how you make a movie. You have to do the script first, and then everything else is secondary. If you don't have a good script, nothing else will be good, right? Oh yeah, rating. Um, Felt this was good the whole way through, outside of the kind of crummy dialogue. So I'd probably give it a 10, and then -1 for the crummy dialogue. So 9 out of 10. 4.5 stars. If I'm switching to doing stars now. Yeah, stars!